Hello everyone and welcome back to day 3. Hopefully by now not all of you are new, but if you are, my name is Candice and I live in Queensland, Australia with my husband and 2 cats. We live on a 7,000 square meter property which is just under 2 acres that we are slowly redeveloping. When we moved here there was nothing but just grass and a couple of established big trees, so everything you do see are things that we have put in the last sort of 18 months. So what I am aiming to do over the next 2 weeks is just update you on some of the projects that I'll be getting up to while I am on school holiday. So what I am going to be doing today is getting stuck into our veggie garden. It needs a bit of a cleanup and a couple of things need to be harvested. So let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to harvest is some of these tomatoes. So as I mentioned in day 1, I actually harvest them a little bit early because we do organic gardening with the veggies anyway, and this way I at least try and preserve some of them before the critters get in. So this is what they look like when I harvest them. So I've actually probably left this one on a little longer than I usually do, but it's still got a bit of green, but they do ripen up quite nicely on my kitchen bench. And what I have been doing is actually freezing them once fully ripe because I plan on making some tomato sauce in the next couple of weeks. So this is exactly why I try and harvest a little earlier. So that one's already been eaten, sadly. And its neighbor. What I love about these tomatoes is that you just kind of never know what shape you are going to get. I do forget the name of these, but the other variety I have is just a Roma tomato because that's my absolute favorite. Well, that's not too bad of a harvest for the tomatoes. I know they do look a bit green, but trust me, they are ripening on my kitchen bench before I'm freezing them. I do think that the bushes behind me are coming to the end of their sort of lifespan as such. They've been in for ages and they've really given me quite a decent harvest. Of course we can always hope for more. Haven't had many fresh eating ones because I'm trying to stock up for that sauce, but yep, we're only 2 people. Let's go and see what else we can get. Okay, so now I'm at my capsicum bed. It doesn't look great at all, but it is still producing. These have been in for months, towards the end of last year, 2023. So I'm not surprised that they're kind of starting to look a little worse for wear, but there are still a few on here that I can harvest. One that I buried has started to sprout some new seeds, so that's a bit exciting. So these are starting to get smaller and smaller, but they're still usable. So I'd rather pick them now than lose them altogether. So I think I'm going to leave it at that today. There's a couple more on there, but I'm going to see if they're going to get any more. But I want to see if they get any bigger before I pick them. They're not turning red just yet. Still more to go. So yesterday I did notice that some of the beetroot was getting a little oversized for our liking. This one's already sprouting a few more leaves. So I've got a pretty decent one. I'm going to pick this one as well. Probably should have left him a bit. So I actually don't eat beetroot, which feels like sacrilege living in Australia. They put it on everything, including a burger. but Sven eats it, and I've grown this purposely for him so that we could make some pickles with them, which I will be doing a little bit later today. So the last thing I'm going to harvest today is some of these snow peas, because I noticed yesterday there were quite a few that were ready as well. I don't like to pick them too young, so this one's quite young still. It's still fairly thin. I do wait until they're at least that size or a bit thicker. I accidentally broke this one, so I guess we'll just have to do a taste test. They are so sweet. My only complaint is I like them fridge cold, so they're obviously a bit warm in the sun. But that's pretty good little pickings for this afternoon. So I like to call that a pretty decent harvest for this afternoon. I am going to pop these inside. We'll deal with these a little later today. And the greens, while I know you can eat them, I'm actually going to feed them to my worm farm. I want to just get this patch at least line trimmed and neatened up a little bit, because we do have some future plans for this area. I'm not quite done, but I think that is the best it's going to get for today. The grass, believe it or not, at 3:30 in the afternoon is still actually wet. It does look a whole lot better. Okay, I need to go and catch my breath for a minute, and then let's make some pickles. Put the beetroot whole, unpeeled, into a pot of boiling water. So you want to boil them until they are tender, and it takes about 30 minutes. Once the beetroot is ready, you need to peel them. Now, I didn't want to get my hands all full of beetroot juice and stain them red, so I really struggled here. But if you do have gloves, or you're not worried about getting your hands red, then just go ahead and rub the beetroot all over. It actually comes off really easily that way. Next, you're just going to slice the beetroot up as thick or thin as you'd like. Try and get them as uniform as possible. It's not that easy. They really are so slippery, and these guys were still a little bit warm. So this recipe is really simple. So we start off with 2/3 cup of white wine vinegar. I didn't have any on hand, so I just used your everyday vinegar, and we've done that in the past and it's totally okay. 1/3 cup caster sugar, 1/2 teaspoon mustard seed, half a teaspoon black peppercorns. I didn't have any peppercorns today, so I just used some cracked black pepper. And then Sven likes his to be a little spicy, so the next step is totally optional, but I just put a dash of cayenne pepper and paprika. You need to bring the pickle juice to a boil on the stove just until the sugar has dissolved. It's best to hot pack your jars, so in other words, just pour the vinegar straight into the jars with the beetroot and put the lids on. This will create a vacuum and then it's good to go. So it can last a couple of weeks in the fridge. Okay guys, there you have it, our very own pickled beetroot. Now we did alter the recipe a little bit just to suit Sven's spicy taste, so we'll just keep these in the fridge. They honestly don't last very long with him, so we don't need to try and preserve them any further. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video and see you guys tomorrow.